but I storm when I enter. Ratchet in the building, handle with pressure. I'm the voice in your head when you know it ain't right. I'm the
What's up, my beautiful chaos makers? Welcome to the new era of Sunny and Ratchet. I'm Ratchet, and things around here might look a little different, but one thing hasn't changed. We're still asking the hard questions, calling out all the bullshit, and laughing through the chaos. This isn't the end of Sunny and Ratchet, this is an evolution. So grab your coffee, grab your wine, or whatever it is that helps you get through the day, and let's dive headfirst into another episode. I'm Ratchet, and this is Sunny and Ratchet. There is a point where the sun goes down and the shadows don't just stretch, they take shape. Tonight, I am taking you to a place right in our own backyard that some are terrified to talk about, a place where multi-million-dollar athletes sleep with the lights on, and where a century-old secret is still crying through the walls. Tonight, we're checking into the Skirvin Hotel. But before we turn the lights out, we have to look at the brochure, because under the Oklahoma sun, the Skirvin Hotel in downtown Oklahoma City is an absolute masterpiece. Let me map the scene out for everybody. The year is 1911, and Oklahoma has only been a state for 4 years now. The oil money is absolutely exploding out of the ground, and a man named William B. Skirvin, a wealthy oil man and land developer, decided Oklahoma City needed a crown jewel. He invested over $1 million, which is an insane fortune back then. Just to give you a little bit of, like, between now and then, $1 million in 1911 is like $35 million in 2026, which is unbelievably pathetic when we think about the inflation rate that has gone through the roof in a little over a century. Does that make sense? I think it's bad. So again, he invests over $1 million, which is an insane fortune back then, to build a luxury hotel. And it opens on September 26, 2011. It opens with 224 rooms in a 10-story, two-winged tower of English Gothic Revival architecture. Say that 5 times fast. We're talking hand-carved mahogany, massive crystal chandeliers, velvet couches, and of course, imported marble floors. When it opened, it was the place to be seen. If you were an oil tycoon making $1 million deals, you did it in the Skirvin lobby. If you were a politician running for governor, you shook hands at the Skirvin Hotel. It has literally hosted U.S. Presidents Taft, Hoover, and both the Roosevelts. It was high society glamour at its finest. So, even when it fell into disrepair later in the century and closed, the city refused to let it die permanently. In 2007, a massive $100 million historic renovation, it reopened its doors as a AAA 4-diamond luxury Hilton. Today, it is absolutely stunning. People get married there under the glittering chandeliers. People hold corporate galas there with their finery and fancy food. It has become the premier luxury hotel in Oklahoma City, and because of that, it has become the designated home away from home for visiting NBA teams coming to play our Oklahoma City Thunder. The Skirvin has literally hosted the Chicago Bulls, the New York Knicks, and the LA Lakers. They all pulled their tour bus right up to the Skirvin. On paper, this is the perfect sunlit picture of historic Oklahoma luxury. On paper. So that's the history they put on the website. That's the history they put in the brochures. That's the version under the daytime sun. But when that lobby clears and the wedding parties go to sleep, and that elevator hits that 10th floor in the dead of night, that glamour completely evaporates. Because Skirvin has a shadow side, a side built on isolation, unhinged secrets, and a presence that refuses to be ignored. When the sun goes down, things get incredibly ratchet. Let's talk about Effie. So the legend goes back to W.B. Skirvin himself, the man who built the empire. And word around the local history rabbit holes is that Skirvin wasn't just a businessman. He was a man with a dangerous appetite. And in 1920s, he allegedly had an ongoing, non-consensual, or highly coerced affair with a quiet, young housekeeper named Effie. And eventually, Effie gets pregnant. Now, in the 1920s, a high society billionaire having a maid publicly expose him for having a child would ruin him. It would destroy the Skirvin brand. So instead of dealing with it like a man, Skirvin allegedly locked Effie away. He confined her to a small, isolated room on the 10th floor. She was completely cut off from the world. Staff dropped off food, but she was a prisoner in the sky. Even after Effie gave birth to the baby, that confinement didn't end. I can't even imagine the kind of suffering that she had to go through during this, being pregnant with, in this instance, somebody who allegedly assaulted you, and then being locked away, having no voice. It's got to be so disheartening. I mean, just on a personal level, I wouldn't even want to try to comprehend her mindset at this point. So again, even after she gave birth to the baby, the confinement didn't stop, and that isolation drove her completely out of her mind. Desperate, suffocating, and broken, Effie allegedly took her newborn child, walked over to the 10th floor window, smashed through the glass, and leapt to her death. Both mother and child died on the pavement below. Of course, Skirvin buried the story. There are no official police reports. Oil money bought a lot of silence back then. But you can't buy the dead. Because ever since then, the 10th floor has been a hot zone for malevolent, aggressive activity. And the entity up there seems to have a specific hatred and a bizarre fixation on men. Let's look at the NBA receipts. Because this isn't just local folklore. These are grown 6 foot plus 200 pounds, 200 plus pound athletes, completely broken by what happened in those rooms. So in 2010, the New York Knicks stayed at the Skirvin, and Jerry Jeffries and Eddie Curry were sharing a suite on the 10th floor. Curry, a little giant of a man, was so terrified by strange noises and slamming doors and the feeling of someone watching him that he refused to sleep alone. He spent the entire night huddled on the couch in Jeffrey's room watching TV with the lights on. The Knicks subsequently lost the game to the Thunder the next day. Then you have Metta World Peace, one of the toughest, most volatile players in the NBA history. He openly admitted that while staying at the Skirvin, a female entity didn't just haunt him, she touched him. He claimed he woke up paralyzed, feeling a hand moving over his body, under the sheets. And then in 2016, the Cleveland Cavaliers stayed there. Kyrie Irving woke up feeling tense, but that was the least of his problems. He and several players reported hearing a baby crying hysterically through the walls, slamming doors, and phantom footsteps pacing outside their rooms all night long. And again, Carrie publicly blamed the hotel for their subsequent loss the next day. The team was so rattled that the next time they came to town to play the Oklahoma City Thunder, players paid thousands of dollars out of their own pockets to stay at a completely different hotel. Then there's Derrick Rose. He used to pay for a roommate just so he wouldn't have to close his eyes alone in a Skirvin Hotel room. And it isn't just the guests. Talk to any of the late night housekeepers, and they'll tell you about carts roaming or rolling down the hallway on their own. They'll tell you about checking a room, cleaning it, walking away, and coming back 5 minutes later to find all the drawers pulled out and the windows fogged over with condensation when no one had been inside. Those are some spooky stories all on their own, and those were just a few of the incidents that I had read about while researching this topic, and I find it really interesting. And what makes the Skirvin so fascinating to me, and why I want this to be our first descent in this type of topic, is you can literally walk into the lobby today, order a high-end cocktail, sit down, look at the beautiful pictures from our history, and feel like you're in a museum of American success. But the building and the environment holds on to the trauma. And when you build a place out of oil money and hide your darkest sins on the 10th floor, that energy doesn't just disappear when you remodel. It stays in the plaster, it stays in the bricks, and it vibrates through the plumbing. So, the next time you're driving through downtown Oklahoma City, or maybe you're just brave enough to book a room on the 10th floor, look past the chandeliers. Watch the shadows. Because Effie and her baby are still checking in for the night shift, even if they never get to check out. All right, well, that was a big one for me. But this is our show for tonight. Running solo is definitely a trip, but I am incredibly excited to see how this show will grow. And going deeper into the local history and urban legends and things that go bump in the night. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're still going to talk about the hard topics, things that are going on in our society currently that need to be expressed, or at least I'm going to give my 2 cents on them. But I also wanted to dive into things like this. So, if you did like this episode, do me a massive favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a 5-star review, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and let me know what other legends that you want me to drag out into the sunny light. Stay safe out there, and keep your eyes on the shadow line, and remember, when the lights go out, stay ratchet.